When you're trying to master something, usually the process you have to go through is you have to try the same thing over and over and over again until you master it. Now, what usually happens with the majority of people is that they eventually get discouraged and give up and come to the conclusion that it doesn't work or they aren't capable of doing this specific thing. So, today I'd like to introduce a new word that I want you to add to your vocabulary that's going to allow you to keep practicing the same thing over and over in a way that is gonna increase the likelihood that you're gonna succeed at that thing, and also in a way that's gonna ensure that you won't get discouraged. Now, this word is called iteration, okay? Iteration. And I learned this word because I've been studying a lot of marketing these days. Now, my specialty is not in marketing, but because I'm running a business, I have accidentally become a marketer. So, here's the deal. When you see a TV commercial and it's a successful commercial and it's really funny, you usually assume that, okay, the writers sat down around a table, they had a concept, they came up with an idea, then they wrote the script, and then they shot the commercial, and then they put the commercial out there, and boom, the commercial was a success. But really, that's not how it works. When you see a fantastic commercial that's really funny and really captivating and thought-provoking, what you're actually seeing is an iterated work, a work that has been iterated many times. So what does iteration mean? What it means is that, so for this example of writing an advertisement, well, they came up with the first iteration, the first version, and then maybe they shot a rough cut of that commercial, and then they showed it to people, and then the people gave them feedback. And it wasn't as funny or as interesting or captivating as they hoped. And so they went back to the drawing board, and then they created a second iteration of that idea. And then they come back, present it. Okay, we got a bit of a better reaction, but not the reaction or response we were hoping for. And so they go back and they iterate again and again and again until they finally get maybe their 5th, 7th, 25th, 57th iteration, and then finally the final product appears polished and impactful, and you see that amazing commercial and you think, wow, what a great commercial, whoever wrote that was a genius. Okay, so what I have found, I've seen a pattern, whether you're trying to master women, you're trying to master like a hobby, you're trying to be good at business, marketing, whatever it is. What I've realized is that life and achieving mastery and skill in whatever area is a process of iteration, which means you come up with an idea or a plan and you think, okay, this seems like a good strategy, a good plan, and then you act on it and then you get a result. And usually when you first try something, you don't get the result, the outstanding result you were hoping for or expecting, right? Now, what do most people do? They'll try once, twice, 3 times, and then when they don't get the result, what do? They either say, this doesn't work, or I'm not good enough. What they don't understand is that the road to success is the road of iteration. So whatever you're doing, you need to understand that each strategy, each attempt is one iteration. When you go out and put that iteration out into the world, you get feedback, then you go back to the drawing board and you create the second iteration, the second version of your commercial used as an example, and then you go out again. Okay, so if we take this, let's say you're trying to gain muscle, and you know you're supposed to eat protein, carbs, good fats, you have to get your diet right. Well, you put a strategy in place, and then you start eating, and then after a few weeks, you realize you haven't been eating enough protein, or you've been eating too much sugar, or whatever it is. So the first iteration of your strategy didn't work. where you go back to the drawing board and say, okay, well, I tried to just freestyle my way through my diet. I guess that wasn't working. Okay, what could I do differently? Let me use a tracking app. So then you get an app such as MyFitnessPal. You start tracking your calories, and then you get a different result. Maybe it's not ideal, and you're like, okay, this helped a bit, but it wasn't enough. What else can I do? Okay, well, maybe I can hire a trainer. Okay, now this is your third iteration of the strategy of eating right in order to gain muscle, and so on and so forth. And so, when you see a successful person or a successful movie, a movie script is a script that has gone through countless iterations until it was finally, this beautiful, successful script, right? So when you look out and you're comparing yourself to others, what you need to realize is they didn't hit it out of the park from the first try, okay? What you see, that polished final outcome, whether someone has a great body, whether someone's really good with women, whether someone's really successful in business, whatever it is, you need to know that you are seeing the final product, which is the result, the birth child of 20, 30, 40, 100 iterations until it finally reached that level. Okay? So, with that, as a man who is striving for success, don't think that you're going to hit it out of the park from the first try. You won't. Success is the process of systematic iteration towards one goal. Okay, so this brings us to the second part. You need to focus on one thing and not constantly change aims and goals and directions, right? Because let's take a movie script. Well, what's the formula? You get the basic script and then you iterate it once, you show it to people, okay? Iterate it again, make it better, show it again, iterate it again until it becomes that amazing movie script, right? Well, what if you wrote a script once, showed it to people, they thought, that's not that good, and then you threw it away and then you started another one and you showed it to people and then they're like, it's not good, and you iterated that maybe 2 or 3 times and showed it and people are like, it's not that good, and you throw it away and then you started another one. You see where I'm going with this? That way, that's the mistake a lot of people make by changing direction, changing their minds, not following through, and then they never reach success. So you could be a writer for 20, 30, 50 years, but never hit it big and think that you're unlucky. But really, the real reason why you never succeeded at writing an amazing script is because you didn't stick to one script and keep iterating it until you brought it up to that worthy level. Okay? And again, we're just using analogies. It could be a script, it could be your body, it could be getting good with women, it could be becoming a good marketer, whatever it is. You have to focus on one thing and then keep iterating that one thing. You understand? Let's say that again. You have to stick to one thing, and then put that one thing through countless iterations until it is successful. Okay? And then we will relate back. Okay? You didn't know this. You didn't see this coming probably, but the previous videos we've been talking about, chapter 8 on decision, and what is the pattern that Napoleon Hill said? Every successful man makes decisions quickly and then doesn't change his mind. Or if he changes his mind very slowly. In other words, every successful man decides on one project and then sticks to that one project and keeps iterating that one project and does not allow himself to get discouraged and keeps iterating until he makes that one project successful. Okay? So there it is again. Definite decision. Without exception, people who decide definitely, who decide and don't change their minds, succeed. And those who change their minds often, aka, I wrote this script, it didn't work. Okay, I'm going to write this script, it didn't work. I'm going to try this business idea, it didn't work. I'm going to try this business idea, it didn't work. I'm going to try this diet, it didn't work. I'm going to try this diet, it didn't work. You see? Now do you see more clearly why you haven't been getting success? Success is about choosing one thing and then iterating the fuck out of that one thing and sticking with it long enough so that you can make it into that beautiful flower. I will leave you with this saying by my favorite poet, William Blake. To create a little flower is the labor of ages. To create a little flower is the labor of ages. What does that mean? That means that just to create the first flower, the earth had to go through millions or billions of years of development until finally it reached that point where the first flower blossomed. They say that a flower's only purpose is beauty, right? It doesn't give fruit, it doesn't do anything. It's beauty expressed. And so to create a little flower is the labor of ages. To create whatever you want in your life that's important to you is going to take a lot of labor, a lot of iterations. So, iteration, that's the word to add to your vocabulary, to use and remember as you're working towards mastery in your chosen purpose. This is Jad T. Jones. Thanks for watching. Take care.